Hello and welcome to BQ Prime. A very good morning to all the viewers. I'm Hiral Dadia. One stock that has been in focus is Reliance Industries. It's interesting to see, how one of the most valuable companies till yesterday fell for a fifth consecutive session. And it's actually put, the company into oversold territory for the first time since March 2023. And this is from a valuation perspective. Now, whether we will see a potential rebound from here and what is in store for the company from a technical perspective and whether the fundamentals actually support the technical levels from here on. Joining us on the show to discuss both aspects is Mr. Sushil Choksey, CEO at Indus Equity Advisors, as well as Chandan Taparia, Head Technical and Derivative Research at Motilal Oswal. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Good morning and thanks for having me on this one.
Always a pleasure. Let's first start from a technical perspective and then try and support it with what Mr. Choksey has to say from a fundamental side. Chandan, overall, from the way the stock has performed in the last couple of weeks, do you think Reliance is now in an oversold zone because of the selling pressure that we've already seen?
Thank you, Hiral. So if I look at the price behavior of Reliance Industry, in last 2 months, we have seen correction from higher levels. In the month of July, it made high near to 2630 and now is hovering near to 2350 zone. We have seen correction in last 2 months, and before that, it witnessed good run up from the mid of March to July. So it rallied from 1980 to 2630, and after that, it witnessed a correction of more than 33%. That is a key retracement zone also. But on weekly setup, we have noticed that it is making lower top, lower bottom, and follow-up is totally missing and trading below all the moving averages. So because of such setup in daily and the weekly chart, upside is being kept. Even if you look at in the series, the stock is down by around 2.5%, trading lower than its volume weighted average. We have seen call writing activity at 2400 strike. But yes, if you look at the daily chart, in the recent weakness, then it is now at oversold territory, and it is one of this heavyweights counter in the broader market. So if I combine all the chart setup, even after the weakness, it seems that now put writing activity is there, and because of that, 2300 could act as support. So now, after finding the support near to 2300, the question is, do you see big momentum? That we don't believe as of now. But yes, with the support of 2300, Reliance can at least bounce to us 2420 kind of level. So I'll play the range in between 2300 to 2420, looking for some bottom facing approach after the beaten down and oversold territory of the counter.
Right. So clearly, from a technical perspective, yes, the stock is in oversold zone. 2300 is the support level that we are looking at. But a follow-up to that, Chandan, is will these support levels actually hold?
So as of now, it seems. But let me tell you that trend is not strong as of now. And that is the reason the support is going to respect it, but follow-up is missing or follow-up will be kept. Even if I look at the put writing activity or rollover cost, I believe as of now the 2300 is going to hold. If you ask me, conviction, have less conviction, but chart and data setup as of now indicating the hold of 2300 as of now in the Reliance industry.
Right. Mr. Choksey, let me come to you from a fundamental perspective. From here on, since the time the demerger has happened with regards to Jio, a lot of chitter chatter in terms of where is the value creation, value unlocking going to come in. We're talking of Reliance Retail, we're talking of Jio, the financial services part of it. OMC is the business is absolutely set. What's the sense that you pick up? What are your fundamental levers actually telling you?
Ma'am, first thing to start, Mukesh Ambani's AGM speech. He indicated what they have not achieved in last 45 years. What they've achieved in last 45, they would like to replicate in next 10. Does it indicate a great start for the next 10 years? Sure. What are the enablers in place? Geo 5G is on a virtue of being totally rolled out by this year. They've already raised air fiber, the handset. Going to retail, the expansion mode continues and the best of global brands are coming to India. The footprint of 18,000 plus stores is likely to get to 20,000 by this year end. And that growth path may continue for another 2-3 years. And the best of PE money or sovereign funds are pouring in dollars into the company, whether it was in COVID or recent also two transactions have taken place. Going to oil and chemical, refining margins and the throughput both seems to be at reasonably on a 5-year, 10-year average at a high note. On top of it, last week Russia has banned diesel exports to Europe, which means the opportunity for Indian refiners to export diesel is going to come up, and Reliance with almost 76 to 80 million barrels of crude being processed at Jamnagar. The throughput in the first quarter is indicated that the margins on oil to chemical division led by refining margins, supported by festive season where automobiles, consumer durable goods, household consumption, plastic will definitely be used, and textile fabric with cotton price on upward swing, also polyester will have a support. So on an overall scheme of things, I don't see why Reliance should not achieve 1,75,000, 1,80,000 crores of EBITDA for the current financial year, and the growth path led by new divisions of hydrogen and solar, which will start contributing in a small way in 2025, and 26 should be the year where they will emerge as big winners, because India is looking at green energy in a big way, and Reliance is looking at integrated play starting from polysilicon to module. No doubt today module prices are at the rock bottom on a global basis, but because Reliance is integrating end to end and converting into hydrogen, that play would become important, and they are looking at captive technology because they have acquired REC 2.5, 3 years back for $700 million. Now, the reason Reliance is looking attractive is if India's GDP, which is at 3.2, 3.3 trillion, heading to 5, and maybe by 30 at 7, 8 trillion or 10 trillion, it's all debate on whether we achieve at 6%, 7%, 8% GDP. 7% seems very feasible today. And with Indian bond, JP Morgan index inclusion, which would make most of the large corporate capex reasonably priced in terms of borrowing cost. If Reliance decides to expand year on year for the capex of 2 lakh crores, I don't see them raising a reasonable cost money. At the same time, their cash flow would support. So in a way, people would expect that the debt would go down, but if Reliance decides to expand at a faster pace than where they stand on all the divisions, they will have money. Adding on this, Jio will have a bumper quarter led by cricket and movies. At the same time, I think the ARPU, which was around 180 rupees, should be heading towards 190 by the year end. Bharti has aspirations to be higher than 200, and that's definitely a play, but Reliance is looking at a larger capture. One needs to say how Jio's new air fiber and other home plans are working, and that should be visible in a quarter to go by. So if you're asking me, the weakness or any further weakness from here, post Geo Financials demerger seems to be an opportunity if you're looking at a play. And second thing, people who have aspirations for growth with the 12-24 month outlook, Reliance may have two more listed companies in terms of retail and Geo as a separate arm, other than the main petrochemical division combined with solar and hydrogen.
Right. Mr. Choksey, one question I have on that is clearly, once the demerger was done and that Qatar fund has come in terms of Reliance Retail, do you think that is something which will actually help Reliance Industries move the needle from a valuation perspective? Because clearly you have seen brokerages who've come out, say, probably at a value of around 1,300 to 1,350 for a Reliance Retail, right? Or is it that that is something which is already priced in and that's not something which will really move the needle for the stock because it's the endorsement of the obvious?
I think that 100 billion value which Qatar fund has invested 1% stake at, whether they move to 125 within a year or next 2 years, one needs to see based on the performance they achieve at the higher end retail market and the footprints they create. I'm sure Reliance is on expansion mode covering the entire India. and they're bringing in the best brands. How they capture and move from that 7% margin towards 8 to 9% margin, or the top line growth would decide the value where it stands today. Today, a lot of people may debate that they are already diluting by selling partial stake for expansion and infusing money. But for the size of the country and a format which you need to create, there are few players who can compete with each other, and Reliance is one among, which is making the entire supply chain to distribution capability, including their store footprint. So I think it's a matter of time that one needs to take a 3-year view and not take 1-year view, because a lot of new divisions have started from cosmetics to many other things. One needs to see what is going to be a domestic consumption pattern based on the current trends, and does this trend only remain in tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 cities, or it also moves into interiors. So how Reliance combines with their petrol pump retail strategy, going into interiors of India or a supply chain, what needs to watch out. I think it's a play with a 3-year, 2-year outlook, and not look at, because I'm looking at more of listing gains when actually all the 3 verticals are separately listed and everybody has a choice to buy what they like, whether it's retail, telecom, or it's the oil to chemical division.
Right. In fact, taking that into consideration, then Chandan, coming to you, we are saying that yes, there is support at 2,300. Uh, if an investor looks to buy at current levels and we do see a good recovery, or say probably a relief rally that does come in, where do you see the resistance, number one, and at what intervals would you be tracking that?
Yeah, so like with support of 2300, the first interval and hurdle will be 2400 to 2420. So that will be there. So this is for immediate point of view. If you ask me positional point of view, then I need some sort of time and price consolidation in the counter. I think if it consolidate near to 2400 to 2420, then only it will start the next leg of rally, which can positionally take it to our 2600 level. But as of now, I'll look at 2300 to 2400 or 2420 zone to play with Reliance. And this is going to work as a weekly range, or going to work for 2 weeks kind of range for the Reliance industry.
Right. In fact, Mr. Choksey, coming to you as well, I was just looking at a Bloomberg estimate. Around 31 analysts out of 39 tracking it still have a buy recommendation. Uh, 5 have see a hold and 3 have a sell rating. Now, the average target is implying say a 19 to 20% upside from the current market price from a 12-month perspective. Is this something that you would go with as well from the current market price?
I think post demerger, valuing Reliance Industries 3 division at 28 to 3,000 rupees is definitely possible. It depends on what guidance you get for next year, and that would be visible by the December quarter result, because thing is that growth and the new division emerging as productivity addition for the following year would direct, because green energy, which is attracting big lot of money, and Reliance's vision on that would decide whether that division will give how much of value addition to the current existing business. Today, people may be valuing at 100 rupees a share, maybe 200 rupees a share. Can it be a winner and add further value to retail and geo and oil to chemical? That needs to be seen. So, in today's market, being a largest market cap company, a 2350 stock being trading at 2800 is reasonable, because the market may not move 20% on Nifty in next 1 year.
Right. And Chandan, would you be looking at a 28, 2900 from a longer term perspective with regards to Reliance Industries?
So for me, it's quite early, because if you look at the price behavior, until the chart setup doesn't change, it would be very tough for me to comment on such bigger number. But yes, as I said, that if you look at the medium term point of view, then hold of 2400, 2420 can open the upside to 2600 only as of now. Because I understand it would be very tough to generate alpha for the counter. And if you look at the Nifty, it can move higher, it can head to us 20,500 and something. But yes, comparatively Reliance will underperform. So I can only look at 2600 zone as of now, if you are looking at the medium or positional terms point of view in the Reliance industry.
Right. So again, Good conviction coming in there. Thank you, Mr. Choksey. Thank you, Chandan, for joining us on the show and sharing the views. And that gives you a holistic picture that, fundamentals do remain intact, as Mr. Choksey was indicating as well, with the kind of unlocking that we're looking at. And from a technical perspective, short to medium term is what Chandan has looked at. Longer term still looks difficult basis the charts that we're seeing so far. So I think slowly, steadily, we'll come to see whether 2,800, 2,900 of what the consensus estimates are looking at from a 1 year target can be achieved or not. That's all that we have on this session. Thanks for watching BQ Prime.